All right, I got 5 plays in for UFC 329, Max Holloway versus Conor McGregor 2. Let's get into it. Peace and welcome back to the channel. We took a little vacation, spent some time on the beach at the Henlopen in Delaware. It was fantastic. If you haven't been there, get there. Enough about that. Let's get back to business. We appreciated not having to work, but in this thing we enjoy what we do and we enjoy the grind. So we sort of couldn't wait to get back to it, and I'm glad I'm back in front of the mic. I'm glad you're here with me. Let's do this. 100 down is in on the board. The first and most important of our plays. We're looking at Robert Whittaker. We took him at minus 148 on the money line. We added to that play with Alessandro Costa at plus 265 on the money line on FD. The two of those together got us plus 130. Plus 130 for those two. Alessandro Costa is in a matchup against Cody Durden, who shocked us all with a short notice win in his last matchup. Alessandro Costa is a short notice call-up in this matchup. Ode Osborne was supposed to be in there. Both of these guys won their last fight. Both of these guys were short notice call-ups in their last fight and won it. So I don't think that has nearly as much to do with the fight as the style, the matchup. But before we get into that, the more important fight is Robert Whittaker going against Nikita Krylov. Now, Robert Whittaker is moving up to 205 from middleweight, from 185 where he has been. Robert Whittaker is a crafty veteran. He's going to come into this with better footwork, better striking, better speed, better layered combinations. He's going to be able to get in and out of range better. He's going to be able to control distance better. Nikita Krylov has got the height advantage. He's got the reach advantage. He's going to have a physicality advantage, a natural strength advantage. And if he can keep this fight in contact, see what I'm saying? If he can keep this fight out of Robert Whittaker's striking range, but keep it a wrestling match, get it down to the ground for an extended period of time, get it up against the cage, that's Nikita Krylov's best chance to win. Robert Whittaker has good defensive wrestling. Don't get me wrong. Nikita Krylov wants to be in there close with him, but if he is not on his guard at all times, Robert Whittaker can end this fight. And even if he doesn't end it, he can make it look bad for Krylov with steal the rounds at just 1 or 2 different blows. Now, I expect Krylov to do the age-old trick that I'm seeing a lot of people do, and it works so great. They go through these close rounds. Maybe they're up or down a little bit behind. But at the end of the round, last 15, 20 seconds left, and their corner gives them the signal. They take their opponent down so they can end the round on top and hopefully, in the judges' minds, somehow get the win that way. He's going to need to do things like that to get the win. Robert Whittaker is the much better fighter. I think he's had the better career to this point. But the move up to 205 is concerning. Okay, there's only one guy. Robert Whittaker is the older, slightly older, but there's no real age difference. Robert Whittaker opened up at 170 on a couple books. I don't really think he dropped. I think there was just a price differential in some of the books. He's at minus 148. We got him on DK at minus 148. That was the best price we could find him at. And like I said, with Alessandro Costa minus 265, we got that for minus 130. That is our premium play. We put 2 units on it. Our premium play, we put 2 units on it. That is 100 down for the week. Good luck to you all if you are tailing. Good luck to me if you are not. So next up, we'll take you through a couple of the straight plays we got. We only got a couple of them. There is a lot of Paddy lovers out there, and I will tell you, 3 fights Paddy Pimblett has been in that I've bet on. I am 0 for 3. Twice I bet against him. He won. The one time I was on him, he lost. I don't feel any kind of special way about Paddy Pimblett. I don't think he's as great as some people make him out to be. And the guy he's fighting this week is an absolute animal. Benoit Saint-Denis, I think, is the rightful favorite. We got him at -130 on Bet65. We put half a unit in on that. Like I said, there's a lot of people on Paddy's side. I'm surprised the fight hasn't flipped already as much, talk as I hear. But I think the real money knows. We'll see when it gets closer to fight time. We got the Midnight Shadow coming out Friday. Make sure you watch, listen, wait for, turn on your damn alerts. Look for the Midnight Shadow. That's your last call for MMA, for all things, for the next card. It's basically just my MMA ramble, where I like to get on and talk about whatever I want without structure, without need. Just go. So check that out. I'll talk about the lines if they have flipped at that point. If they haven't, we'll talk about something else. It doesn't matter. The next play up that we have on the board, it's Tracy Cortez versus Kong Wang. We got Kong Wang by decision. She was slight favorite in this fight. The last time we checked before we came on, somehow, and we've seen this before just recently, and we talked about it on the Midnight Shadow a few weeks ago. Kong Wang was slight favorite in this fight. Tracy Cortez to win by points was in the -140 something range. Kong Wang to win by decision, Kong Wang to win by points was +220. How, if she's the favorite, is the most likely path of method victory Tracy Cortez to win? I expect either the fight to flip, or I expect those numbers to correct themselves like they did. That was the night of Freedom 250 card. Kong Wang to win by decision +220, half a unit. Next up, we are going to go Castle Parlay. Basic unit stacker, our safety net, which has failed. Just to keep it 100 with y'all, the Castle Parlay, which had won like 4 parlays in a row, 4 cards in a row, has failed the last 2 times out, and we had a week off, so that's 3 weeks no castle money. Jesus, the bricks are just laying there. Nobody's building the castle. We need the castle to get built. We need the bricks to get laid. We're going back to the essence this week. You will notice on our board, if you notice, almost every single play is a money line, and that is the way we did it, and that's the way we did it best when we were doing it at our best. So this week we got Farid, Basharat on the money line, Adrian, Yanez on the money line, and low near Kavanagh on the money line. The toughest fight on paper seems to be the low near Kavanagh Brandon Royval fight. We know who Brandon Royval is. We've seen both of these guys fight and beat Brandon Moreno. Low near Kavanagh probably got the better of it, but he got Brandon Moreno after the Brandon Royval fight, and a little bit more older, a little bit more damaged Brandon Moreno. He also beat him on short notice in Mexico City in a main event. So, man, Low near Kavanagh is on the rise through the roof. My man, Brandon Royval, I love him to death. He's 10-7 in the UFC. He's trying to get to that title shot. And I'm going to tell you what, this is his opportunity. If he can beat this kid, you got to, at least put him in the conversation. And while the other way around, Lonier Kavanagh probably doesn't get the title shot. He probably is not in the conversation yet. He doesn't have as much, we'll call it clout in the game as Brandon Royval does. But he's on the way up. I think he's the better fighter. And I don't really think it's close. He's going to have a definite power advantage. Both of these guys want the fight to stay on the feet. The only grappling I see at all is if maybe one of these guys gets tuned up and they want to do some like panic wrestling or clinching just so they can get themselves back in order. This one's going to be on the feet. This one's going to be, it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see it. I got Lonier Kavanagh coming out of this one, and most likely it's going to be a decision. We did not go in the method. This one's too volatile. The kid has too much power. Brandon Royval has too much experience, too much slickness. Brandon Royval is a professional fighter. Boom, you heard it here. That is our stamp of approval. We can't really give you a better endorsement than that on the channel. So, I'll just let you know how we feel about Lonier Kavanagh. If we think Brandon Royval is good enough to get the professional fighter nod, and we still think he's going to lose, it wouldn't be the first time. So that's the Castle Parlay. We got plus 102 for that on FanDuel. We put a full unit down on it. Research, analyze, dominate. Let's get it. We need it this week. Let's get that dough. If we don't get it, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. Next up, North Coast Media, the House Special. House Special. Ryan Gandra, Damian Pinas, Luke Riley, plus 227. Yo, we put 3/4 of a unit on this one. Yeah, this one is a nice one right here. And we expect, look, all these guys are young guys, and we expect them to win. There's not without danger. There's a few fights on here. On paper, it would seem that Ryan Gandra is going to have the toughest time. Ryan Gandra's new in the game. They know him in Brazil. They love him. He started out a little bit slow, I thought, in his debut. We were on him. We took him. He won. He ended up looking great. He's going against Zach Reese. Now, if you follow the channel at all, you know Zach Reese is somebody that we are always on. We love Zach Reese in almost all of his fights. Zach Reese, he's going to fight for your money. He lost that split decision. I don't know. I think he got that. But I can't say much because I was on him. You know what I mean? So I could be biased. Zach Reese has impressed me in even his losses. The kid's tough. He's got excellent jiu-jitsu once you get you down there. His hands are usually more surprising, I think, to his opponents than they were expecting coming in. He usually shows himself or quits himself well on the feet. Ryan Gandra is going to come in with a power that I'm not sure Zach Reese is seen before or is ready to deal with. But Ryan Gandra is going to have to deal with some grappling. He's going to have to deal with Zach Reese trying to take him down, and he's going to have to survive that. Now, Damian Pinas against Cesar Almeida, the Brazilian, is a kickboxer. One of the Brazilians you'll see who he's got great striking. He's not going to outstrike the kid from Aruba, I'll tell you that. If they stay on the feet, which both of these guys really do want to stay on the feet, I think Pinas picks him apart with the hands. He reminds me, he's in that mold of a Tiba, Gautier. We have, who's the guy I'm trying to think? Montel Jackson. We got guys like Montel Jackson. You expect so much from these guys, and they look the part. They come out and whoop these guys 3 or 4 for their first opponents. I was really thinking him. There's another guy I'm thinking of too. I can't remember his name right now, and I don't want to pause to try to think of it. But I'm thinking these guys are going to be big time from their first few fights, and they sort of like once they start running into some guys who can take them down, they sort of show how they're not really rounded out in skill, or how that fighting stand-up game wasn't nearly as good enough as we thought it might have been. Now, there's two guys who I believe are in the mold, but above that, who are going to show themselves out to be fantastic fighters regardless, and they're young enough that they can learn that grappling defense. They might not ever be grapplers themselves, but they're going to learn that defense, that I believe they're going to learn that defense that will eventually get them to a championship level. And those guys are Damian Pinas and Atiba Gautier. Watch out for those boys. And listen, the other part of that parlay that's going to be dangerous now, let me talk about it for a second here before I let you go. Luke Riley is a big favorite against Kai Kamaka, the Hawaiian. Kai Kamaka is way better than you think. Now listen to me, Kai Kamaka is live. Now, I almost went with him. I trust Luke Riley. Would not have put Luke Riley in this parlay if I didn't believe he was going to win. We would have put him, we would have took him solo, or we wouldn't have took him at all. Luke Riley's boxing is fantastic. Luke Riley keep this fight on the feet. He can win this fight. But I'm going to tell you right now, we were on Dakota Hope. He had the stylistic matchup. He had everything going against Kai Kamaka except for the experience. But he had a strength advantage. And he might have been able to win that fight. We didn't feel like Dakota Hope fought a high IQ fight against Kai Kamaka. And Luke Riley is, almost at about the same level in his experience. He's not very experienced. Kai Kamaka has the experience edge against both of these gentlemen. Now, the stylistic matchup in this one is a whole lot different. Luke Riley's going to try to match Kai Kamaka on the feet, whereas Dakota Hope wanted to wrestle. Dakota Hope didn't wrestle. That's why he lost the fight. But Dakota Hope is a wrestler. He was the much better wrestler. If he could have got that fight to the ground, he's a much better grappler overall, period. And he was the stronger man we thought. Kai Kamaka showed incredible strength. Kai Kamaka showed toughness and hand speed that we wasn't sure that he had. Especially when we get with these fighters, these young guys who just come out, we need to see things. And we tell you this, hey, we didn't bet on this or that because we need to see more. I need to see this. I need to see that. Kai Kamaka showed those things in his last fight. Now, on the other hand of this, on the other side of it, Luke Riley has shown these things more than a couple times. Luke Riley has no L's in the UFC. Kai Kamaka's 2-2-1. Luke Riley has come through. Luke Riley is the much higher rated prospect, and like I said, we believe in Luke Riley to win this fight. We have no issues with Luke Riley. I guess what I'm telling you here is respect, be on the lookout for Kai Kamaka. He's someone to watch out for. I think the kid is better than a lot of people are giving him credit for. They are on fire, and I tell you what, that's all 5 of them right there. That's the Shadowbox Final. Thank you for joining me one more time.